Well, time has finally caught up to me, and I've been able to complete the Des Moines Bureau project, which I put absolutely no effort into completing aside from changing out the patrons or commanders, whatever they're called, and ships every time I completed a segment. I didn't really bother grinding any of the ships for extra research points or anything, so it's taken me until now to finally unlock this ship. But now that I have it in my hands again, I wanted to bring it out into a game and show you the raw firepower of this cruiser and demonstrate just how thoroughly it can carry a game. And that is what I'm going to do in this game that you see before you. Now, I'm not going to end up with the most impressive total of damage done or anything like that, but the choices I make in this game are arguably going to be what carries my team to victory. So, a little bit more on that as it comes along. As for the build here that I've chosen on the Des Moines, I'm going with Beepley, mostly because of the skill in her fourth row, which improves cruiser concealment. In fact, with that skill, the concealment mod, and Swirsky and Makawa as inspirations, I've got the concealment on Des Moines down to 9.7, and Beepley isn't even fully maxed. If you're able to fully max her, then you could get the concealment down even further than that. And this is very significant because the Des Moines carries a 40-second radar with a 9.9 kilometer range, which means I have stealth radar on this build. Stealth radar is massively overpowered. It is uncounterable for destroyers because it means that anytime you're unspotted and you suddenly get spotted by the sea, and you can't see what's spotting you, well, you can know it's a destroyer because they're pretty much the only thing that has better concealment than 9.7 kilometers, and then you can simply pop their radar. There's nothing they can do about it. They can't see you before they see you at 9.7 kilometers, so it's not like they can turn around when they spot you outside of your radar range and try to stay out of your radar in order to avoid it. No, they have no counter whatsoever. Stealth radar is extremely overpowered. Really, no cruiser should be able to do it, in my opinion. But we can do it with the Des Moines and with Beepley. Of course, there are no destroyers in this game to terrorize with our stealth radar, so we're actually playing the role of a destroyer in that we were able to get into this capture circle and take it. Note it's the only capture circle taken by either team, and note how hard the Weimar gets smacked there by our AP. 2 citadels, and he was fairly angled. The Des Moines AP is crazy. But anyway, about the situation. No destroyers on our team, and yet we're able to play the role of the destroyer and take this cap thanks to our excellent concealment. The question is, what do we do now? Well, if we look at the map, we see the enemy destroyer is all the way on the other side, near the Alpha cap. He's not actually inside that cap. For some reason, he is spotted approaching an island that is being hugged by 2 of my cruiser teammates, so they likely have him caught in sonar or radar. And the enemy team doesn't look like they are about to enter any of the caps and start flipping them. What's going on this side of the map, though, is we've got an Ochakov and a Massachusetts over here behind this island, both of which are pushing around this flank to, I guess, enter this cap. And we could potentially leave this flank and go more toward the center to reinforce our teammates over there, maybe try to take Bravo. But with this Massachusetts and Ochakov here, well, they're presenting a bit of a problem because eventually they're both going to push out, and it's likely, almost certain, that they're going to enter this cap and try to undo all my hard work. So I thought at the time that it would be important for me to stay here and help my teammates finish off the Massachusetts and the Ochakov. After all, there are 3 of us. There's me, there's this battleship in front of me, and there is, I think, an Alaska just off screen to the right. So between the 3 of us, we should be able to melt this Massachusetts quickly, and the Ochakov as well. Now, the Des Moines has 27 millimeters of armor plating, which means the Massachusetts is capable of overmatching it. And that means it's difficult to angle against the Massachusetts, so I'm keeping the island between myself and this battleship so that he can't see me. But I'm trying to skirt around this rock so that maybe I can get shots on his broadside and put my AP into it, or else maybe I can pepper him with a little HE, start a fire, that kind of thing. The Richelieu, I think, is the battleship in front of us, is moving in. He's got shots. Ochakov appears, and we're able to start firing at him. We can see he's going to turn broadside, so we switch to the AP in anticipation, hoping that we can strike the Citadel, but it is not to be. We get 7 over-penetrations, which is a little bit ridiculous. Not one of those could have been a Citadel game. Thank you very much. Nevertheless, Ochakov gets away. Massachusetts is on very low health. He's being shot at by our Alaska, and whatever battleship that is, I guess it's not a Richelieu. It looks actually American from here. I have no idea. He looks like he's also about to go down, so we really need to take care of this Massachusetts. And in the meantime, my team has lost 3 cruisers and a battleship, while the enemy team has only lost a single cruiser. And I guess their destroyer decided he no longer wanted to play in this game, so he suicided. No idea what happened. Don't know why he's dead, but he is, and there goes the Massachusetts. So the kill count is almost even now. The enemy's still ahead of us. They are going to be flipping both Bravo and Alpha, though. So we can't delay here too very long. We don't want to get caught up and stuck on this flank where we're shooting at an kiting Ochakov, and we've got nothing else to offer our team. No, this Ochakov needs to go down. He cannot be allowed to remain alive for any longer in order to distract me and my teammates. We need to take him out as quickly as possible and then start making a beeline for Bravo so that we can hopefully stop the enemy team from taking it, or if they do end up taking it, we can get into it quickly and contest it. The point situation is very close, and if the enemy is able to secure 2 caps and hold them, then eventually they are going to overtake us on points, and we can't allow that to happen. We also can't penetrate a stern-taking Des Moines with our armor piercing, so we switch to the HE. The Alaska next to us is shooting at him as well. We did get a big, juicy hit on him for 5k with the HE, and now most of the shells are missing as we fire at the Ochakov. You can see the dispersion isn't exactly stellar. I think it's a lot better if you actually spec into it, but luckily the Alaska or the battleship or somebody ends up taking the Ochakov out, and that clears this flank. This is the only flank my team has managed to secure in terms of capping. The Bravo cap, while the fight is over there and an enemy cruiser, it looks like he's poised to take it. It is the Alaska, but the Alaska is now spotted by a friendly battleship, so hopefully that battleship is able to reset the Alaska, and he is. So that's good. That buys us some time. That means the enemy team is not going to secure the Bravo cap very quickly, and that is going to keep our chances of winning alive. Normally, I would advise that you don't commit yourself so fully to a flank in order to chase a kiting cruiser like Ochakov, but if we had left that Ochakov to his own devices, he would have gotten into that Charlie cap and taken it, or he would have taken up a position on the map further south of the enemy spawn, where he would have been able to shoot at ships more in the center of the map, and he would have been a complete nuisance for us to move in this way to go against the Alaska and the Alaska's remaining teammates. I'm able to lob a couple shells thanks to the Des Moines floaty shell arcs and low shell velocity over that island there at the Alaska, and we end up yoinking the kill somehow, which turns out to be our first kill of the game, but it certainly won't be our last. Here in the last 5 minutes is where the Des Moines is really going to show its strength. Now remember what I said about the 27mm plating. The Vanguard is a Tier 7 battleship with only 15-inch guns. That means he cannot overmatch my plating, which means I don't have to try too terribly hard to angle against him. If he shoots AP at me, unless it hits my superstructure, it's gonna bounce. It's not gonna pen. But we're able to pen him with our HE, and if he wants to turn and give broadside, which he is about to do, then we're going to switch to our AP, and we're going to start getting some ridiculous results. The Des Moines AP is absolutely insane. I probably should shoot it more than I do, but I wanted to light some fires on that Vanguard before getting armor-piercing damage. But any broadside target, battleship, cruiser, I don't care what it is, how heavily armored it is as a battleship or a cruiser, if it gives you broadside, you can probably penetrate it with the Des Moines AP. It's just outrageous. Here comes the enemy Alaska, moving in broadside toward us. I guess he didn't know we were here. We switch immediately to the AP. We're able to chunk him a little bit there, not too much, but this last salvo should be enough to take him out, or not quite. Leaves him with just enough health that we need one extra salvo, but that's okay. He goes down as our second kill of the game, does minimal damage to us in return. And we're sort of thinking that, okay, the Vanguard's here, so we should be fine. But no, surprise, there's a Yamato as well, which is not necessarily great, and there's a Des Moines who happens to be broadside. You cannot give broadside in the Des Moines to another Des Moines, because if you do, then that will happen. 4 citadels, or is that actually 5 citadels? Yeah, 5 citadels and a devastating strike. We're able to take that Des Moines out in seconds. Unlike some of the other American cruisers, which have a citadel that is mostly underwater, the Des Moines citadel is entirely exposed, and it runs from the front turret all the way to the back turret above the water line, so it's a lot easier to hit than the likes of Wichita or Baltimore or ships like that. Their citadels are much less exposed. Of course, that 27 millimeters of plating, Yamato has no problems overmatching that and smacking us for most of what we're worth, but that's okay. He didn't get a citadel, he didn't get a kill. We're fine. He's the last enemy ship left alive, and you can see just how effective that AP is against his broadside. I think we do over 6,000 to him there on that last salvo. But all we need to do now is secure this cap. We don't need to rush out. We don't need to try to be a hero. We don't need to try to farm more damage, be more flashy. We certainly don't want to put ourselves in a place where the Yamato can easily shoot back at us and destroy us. Our teammates over there are on fairly low health, and it's not entirely inconceivable to me that the Yamato could take both of them out. And if he does that after having taken us out, well, that would be a perfect way to throw this game. So we secure the cap, and we decide to play it safe. It's going to take us, frankly, a little bit too long to try to turn around and go forward. So we've got a heal going, and now we're going to reverse in the same direction that Yamato is reversing in to see if we can't maybe get some shells over this island into his broadside, or maybe we can meet him when he comes around the island. We've got Conqueror, and I think that's Alabama pushing in. The Alabama probably shouldn't push in because the Yamato can overmatch him as well and make short work of him. But the Conqueror, as is to be expected, is hitting the Yamato repeatedly with high explosive and lighting fires that the Yamato doesn't appear to be able to put out. And yeah, definitely not unexpected. The Conqueror is also, in my opinion, an overpowered ship. The HE is ridiculous, and as long as you know what you're doing in a battleship, the Conqueror hard counters Yamato. It's not the other way around. Yamato does not hard counter the Conqueror unless the Conqueror player just isn't very good at playing the ship. Hate to break it to you, but that's how I see it. In any case, we're going to be able to get a couple more parting salvos into the Yamato before this game ends, or not. Maybe one of our teammates will take it out and end the game for us. So we do end with 147,000 damage done. Not the most impressive amount of damage you've ever seen, but certainly a lot of base XP, which indicates that our choices here really helped drive the course of this game and carry it home for a win for our team. So the Des Moines is crazy, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of it on this channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. If so, give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.